In lesson 4.6, we're going to learn why we've been trying to show that two triangles are congruent. And what ends up happening is, in the current picture that we see here, what we notice is that the angle 20 is matching up in the triangle down below with the angle 20. We see that our side that's 7 units long is matching up with our side that is 7 units long. And through vertical angles, we see that the 100-degree angle and the 100-degree angle are matching up. And what we notice then is that these two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. Something that's really important to do is to name the two triangles in the same order. So for example, if I name the bottom triangle, triangle BDC, I will have to say that that triangle is congruent to triangle, and then I'll have to name it in the same order. So I notice the B has the orange marking, which matches up with E. I notice the D has the pink marking, which also matches up with D again. And that the C doesn't have a marking, and that matches up with A. And so as I look at these, I have to match these up correctly. So I have the orange marking B and E matching up. I have the pink angles, or the blue sides matching up, and then the pink angles matching up, which are the D angles. And so that's how I'm matching these two up. If you don't write the two triangles that are matching up in the correct order, that becomes a problem. After I know that these two triangles are congruent, what I'm saying is that I know that everything else should match up as well. Meaning that I also know that angle A has to be the same size as angle C. I also know that the side called AE will have to be the same length as the side CB. And I also know that the side called DC will have to be the same size as the side DA. The reason that that's happening is those are called corresponding parts of congruent triangles, and they are congruent. This phrase up above here, CPCTC, stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And so the goal is to show that two parts later on in these two congruent triangles are congruent. So you find a way to match up the two triangles using some of the postulates that we talked about earlier, like side, 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 angle, side, or like in the current one, angle, side, angle. And then after you've shown that, you can then say what you might want to say. Like, for example, I could say side DC is congruent to side DA because they are corresponding parts of congruent triangles, hence they are congruent. Or in other words, CPCTC. In this next slide, we have multiple triangles here. You might notice that there's a very large black triangle, ABC, but within that triangle, there is a red triangle, ADC, and a blue triangle, AEC. And so to see what's going on with these triangles, you'll see some markings in there. They're very faint on this slide. But if I separate out these triangles, you will see, especially the red and the blue, what's going on and what's amazing about this picture. So look at this next slide. Here we pulled out the blue and the red triangle to kind of see what's going on. And what I notice is that this angle D has a marking on it, which is exactly the same as angle E. Also, I notice that angle A off to the left here in the red triangle and angle C off to the right in the blue triangle have the same marking. And then, funny enough, we also have that the bottom side AC is the same as the bottom side AC. Hence, these two triangles happen to be congruent by the angle-side postulate. And recalling that I have to name them in the same order, let's say I go from purple to pink to blue, what I would be saying then is in the red triangle, triangle DAC would be congruent to triangle, and having to match them up, the purple from the blue triangle, the purple marking, would be the E, and then the pink marking would be the C, and then the going through the blue would be the A. And so I would name them in this order to say that those two triangles are congruent. So the big idea in this slide is that, looking back at the previous slide, sometimes these markings are a little bit confusing to try and see these triangles, but if you pull them apart and draw them separately, you can see how the two triangles are congruent.